why I was worried about it not going too fast, because I don't want you. I don't want you to fall.
Do you want to be able to clear tier 150 with ease?
Wow.
Perhaps dominate the infernal hordes? And at the same time disrespect your enemies by pissing out bacterial-infected green urine on them? Hell yeah, you do. You dirty dog. But here's the problem. You're a dog-shit noobie that can't aim for shit, and you may even be a console abuser. So what are we going to do about that? Well, damn, my man, Crafty has made a console rapid-fire build, meaning it's playable by everyone. So say goodbye to the days of PC superiority, and hello to what is your new favorite rogue build, because it's insane, and you know it. So what makes this version of Rapid Fire so damn good in comparison to the others? Well, for starters, it does not rely on crowd control. Or well, it does, but not nearly as much as cold RF builds. The reasoning for building the build that way is rather simple, as to not screw you over in case your urine accidentally fucks off to Uganda or whatever. Dealing substantial amounts of damage, even without crowd control in turn, therefore, makes the build just way easier to play. On top of that, it's easier to gear for. By rocking Poison Imbuement, we can reset that shit with ease. This also allows you to use the Starless Skies ring if you have it. If you were playing Cold Imbuement, then there's not a chance in hell that this would be possible, considering you'd always run out of Cold Imbuments without having 8 stacks or so of it. Or well, you can still run Cold Imbuement without it, but it would make your build absolute dog shit. And for final reason, as to why it's better than the other versions, is rather simple. I'm not a doctor, but I can only imagine green urine being better for you than pissing out frozen bullets. If you've ever had kidney stones, then you would agree with me. Now, when it comes to the skills and playstyle, Crafty, the legend, has made an excellent pit-pushing version, and I changed the build slightly for the hordes, as to not fucking die El Mao, because hordes hurt. In any way, let's talk about the skills for the pit first. Dash is lovely as to keep up tricks of the trade legendary node and zoom around everywhere. For the pits, you're also using Smoke Grenade for big hecking dam. I typically swap it out in the hordes for Shadow Step, as you can't spam potions as hard in the hordes in case you're ever crowd controlled. But more on that later. Just know that pit equals big damn important. For both versions, you're rocking Poison Imbuement and Caltrops though. Poison Imbuement to deal non-physical damage and utilize a buttload of additional multipliers, and Caltrops for the 55% massive damage from enhanced Caltrops, along with being a trap skills, which we utilize in the Paragons. For basic skill, Heartseeker is the way to go, as it brings both a lot of buffs, and it can't miss, making the build even easier. And of course we use Rapid Fire because it's the best rogue skill in the game currently. Alright friends, enough of the basics. You obviously want to start copy-pasting the build and get blasting for the final time of Season 5. So let's check out the gear and aspects. I'll also talk about what's happening in Season 6 for this build, so you can keep blasting it then as well. And spoilers, it's looking pretty damn good then as well. But first, a word from today's sponsor. The coolest goddamn website ever, Boot.Dev. And why is it so damn cool, you may ask? Well, shit, they provide programming courses in Python, JavaScript, and Go. But they've made it into an RPG game where you earn experience and items as you progress through it. And the course is obviously created in the correct way, that is, with a buttload of programming assignments. And oh man, oh man, oh man, do I wish this existed when I studied programming, because my bald old professor was about as enjoyable as hemorrhoids. This is the future of learning, my friend, and they know it, already collecting 250k users and a massive community. If you check out the description, you'll find a 25% code, and I can highly recommend getting it if you care about your future, that is. They know how good their website is, allowing you to use their resources for free, and a 30-day refund policy when you purchase it. So whether you're a student, Sick of flipping burgers, or already a god programmer in need of some freshing up, make sure to check it out. You won't regret it. Starting us off, Cowl of the Nameless is just too hecking good, man. The Trick Attack's passive is just fucking bonkers and double-triple dipping like crazy. A must-have. Try to masterwork that shit, along with Unstable Elixirs, which is also pretty damn strong. Next you go for Siphoned Victuals. This is for the pit, as you'll otherwise run out of potions spamming it for Unstable Elixirs. For the Hordes, we're using Tyrael's Might, if you have it of course, which you should unless you're a dog Noobie. Other than that though, Subterfuge Skills is bonkers, seeing as Dark Shroud is a subterfuge skill. Next we go for the Expectant Aspect for massive damage and try to gain as much crit and rapid fire ranks as possible. We then want a hip pair of pantaloonies and slap on the Umbrous Aspect real good. This is to gain Dark Shroud ranks without it actually being on our skill bars. Just lovely. Now here's something important, so listen up, damn it. It's mandatory that you get a utility temper for chance to freeze on at least one of your gear pieces, because otherwise you can't use the Frigid Finesse passive, which is the best passive in the game. We have it here, but you can grab it on any of your armor pieces. For the sneakers, nothing special. Try to grab attacks, reduce evade cooldown, some dex and max life. Then it's all about the concussive strikes aspect for both crowd control and some good damage. Next, we have some big hecking damn, aka the weapons. The Sky Hunter is just insane, granting a humongous amount of crit damage. If you manage to get yourself a GA crit on it and masterwork that shit, then you're looking at close to 1,000 crit on this weapon alone. Pretty balanced. For the other weapons, the Condemnation is pretty good, and the Edging Master is just lovely as it both provides damage during and without crowd control. Now for the Hordes, I typically run the Coombringer as to not hecking die El Mao. I also use ruby gems then to make me unkillable. And finally, the jewelry. On the amulet, we're actually rocking the repeating aspect. This is just fucking massive for several reasons. First, it doesn't rely on CC. Secondly, it allows for more poison imbuement resets. And finally, it looks cool LLOL. For the passives, Frigid Finesse is still the best. For the rings, you can indeed play with Starless Skies. For the Hordes, though, I'm just using a regular ring and aspect so that I can spend more energy and use the Second Wind passive for more defensives. Yummers. Oh, and don't forget Scoundrel's Kiss, because without it, you don't really have a build Elmao. Great job, friends. Gear and aspects are now done. Pick the combo points real quick because it's already skill tree fucking clock, and you know it, baby. Starting us off, we definitely don't want to drop a wet fart on the basic skills because it's actually useful here. So suck it back in and let's pick up Heartseeker for combo points, attack speed, and 15% crit damage. Just lovely. Next up are some defensives and our main damage ability, the Urinator. Enhanced Rapid Fire is kind of mid, but Advanced Rapid Fire is just fucking insane. Basically, a flat 30% big damn increase. Hell yeah. Next we go for a buttload of passives, where Unstable Elixir is the reason you want to keep chugging those health potions and trick attacks, is completely broken, double dipping like crazy. We also want Caltrops for Big Dam and Dash for mobility, along with utilizing the tricks of the trade legendary node in the Paragons. After that, we go for our Dark Shroud stacks as to not hecking die and Smoke Grenade for Big Dam. And don't forget these passives for the Big Dam. We then want the Poison Imbuement. The reason we can reset it with ease is due to mixed Poison Imbuement. When you have the repeating aspect on, you're shooting out so many goddamn arrows you can barely keep track of them. And what does this mean? Well, shit. It means instant cooldown resets via mixed poison imbuement. Pretty nice. Next we go for some passives, where Frigid Finesse is the most important one, and you'll want this on your amulet for sure. For the ultimates, we're skipping that shit, except for in the Horde version. There we are also using Second Wind for a shit ton of defensives, but it's only usable without the Starless Skies, so don't use it if you're rocking that uber unique. And finally, the key passive. Precision is just too hecking good, man. You're both able to stack up a shit ton of stacks here, but you're also getting the bonus from trick attacks to double your precision damage. Pretty damn nice, I must say. Damn son, you still here? How about dropping a fucking sub then, will ya? And give one to Crafty as well. You won't regret it. When it comes to the Paragons, it's all about the big damn baby with some defensives sprinkled in. And we're starting us off with combat for the crit damage. Next we go for the cheap shot legendary node for the massive damage bonus and socket canny with ease. You also have 20% DR here, which is balanced for sure. Next it's time for deadly ambush. You'll trigger this via Caltrops and socket the ambush glyph for an additional 10% big dam. Down here you'll also find the Eldritch Bounty node, which you want to grab last seeing as you're not actually utilizing any rare nodes here. You can find the board order here, my friend. So instead, we go all the way back up to fucking Narnia and slot in the control glyph for 20% damage in the tricks of the trade board. Dash is our cutthroat skill to trigger this one. After that, we go for the no witness board and socket fluidity. This is smart, seeing as it's both lovely for damage, but can also boost the nearby max life nodes for an additional 15% max life. It's then time for the cunning stratagem to gain more rapid fire arrows and 10% resistances. And finally, the exploit weakness board. No glyph here, just the broken legendary node, some max life and cold resistances. And when it comes to the resistances, all in all, you have 20 cold here along with 10% all resistances in the cunning stratagem, along with 20% shadow resistances in the tricks of the trade board, and 20% poison in the deadly ambush board. Okay, and what the hell does this mean? Well, shit. It means that the Starless Skies, ring along with gems, will sort out all of your resistances. Easy peasy. If you don't have any Ubers, though, then you'll need resistances on your gear. Well, shit, son. Paragon's done. You know what time it is? Damn right. It's time to get hecking good, my man or woman. Let's do it. Starting us off, these are the damage bonuses you actually need to keep track of. Or well, at least know about. Unstable Elixir, chug a potion, and you have the damage bonus for 10 seconds. Trick attacks, daze or stun some random enemies, and you're gaining a fuck ton of damage. Advanced rapid fire, evade, and gain a 30% damage bonus. This is a no-brainer for the GigaChad pumpers. But what does this actually mean for you, Mr. Dogshit Dad Gamer? It means that you'll chug a potion every 10 seconds, evade every now and then, and try to keep enemies dazed or stunned. If you're pushing the highest of pits, it also means that you want to fish for the correct boss, one that has adds that you can crowd control for trick attacks. When it then comes to the skills, you'll typically just keep dashing around to gain the tricks of the trade legendary node, so you can basically ignore that. But you'll at least need to do it once every 8 seconds. I'm also mentioning that we don't have any unstoppable in the pit pushing variant, but you'll gain so many health potions that you can just keep chugging them if you ever get crowd controlled. For the other skills, you'll want to keep Smoke Grenade up on as many enemies as possible here. Caltrops is only really used on elites, and on bosses, you'll want to try and get the maximum bonus up, as the boss is about to get staggered. This is where actual skill comes in handy, LOL. Other than that, though, you just blast, man. Spam that poison imbuement as frequently as possible, get 3 combo points via Heartseeker, and piss your enemies in the face with rapid fire. You then just zoom around, try to keep your buffs up, and one-shot everything in the game. Easy peasy. When it comes to the hordes, the main difference is that I swapped Smoke Grenade for Shadow Step after recording the gameplay. This has several reasons, one being that I noticed Smoke Grenade wasn't being utilized enough, and alls. This is because I'm not running the Siphon Victuals aspect that drops health potions everywhere, and instead I'm using Tyrael's Might for tankiness. Okay, Mr. Paragaming Big Dick Senpai, and what the hell does this mean for me? Great question. It means that you can't spam potion every time you're crowd controlled, and instead need to get the hell out of there via Shadow Step. Typically, I make a quick swap of skills on the boss to maximize damage though, as it's pretty damn fun to just one-shot those idiots. Alright friends, that's all for Season 5. So what's happening in Season 6 then? Funnily enough, a few buffs. For starters, we're getting a new passive, Balustra. As we're evading for rapid fire buff already, we can now utilize this for an additional damage bonus. But that's pretty minor. The interesting part is actually in the Paragons and the change to the combat glyph. For starters, you're able to get 4 times the additive crit damage bonus from each point in it. On top of that, the radius is increased, and you're getting a flat multiplicative crit damage increase. This buff is indeed substantial, because you're getting more than 1,000 additive crit, which is double dipping via tricks of the trade, and buffing you via precision. The multiplicative buff here, I can only assume that it also double dips, seeing as every fucking glyph did so on the PTR. Let me know if I'm in the wrong here. But if it is, then that's also a massive damage bonus for the precision key passive. All in all, you're looking at doubling your damage or more, and that's on top of all the other Paragon buffs that you're already getting. The build was speed running the highest of pits on the PTR, and seeing that this build has been running under the radar for the last 2 seasons, this could yet again becomes the best rogue build in the game. If Victimize gets gutted, then this is going to be my main rogue build for Season 6. After I'm done playing the Spiritborn LOL. Anyhow, that's all for this one. Sub and check out Crafty, and I'll see you in the next one, Kings.
Paragaming right fucking now and watch this fucking video to the right or left as well, or I will shove an assortment of rusty hydraulic torque wrenches up your ass.